Today we are celebrating some of the best and brightest from Baltimore City Public Schools. We have valedictorians here, class presidents, captains of sports teams, leaders of service organizations. These are remarkable, remarkable students, and in just a few weeks, they're going to be heading off to college, helped on their journey by CollegeBound advisors, CollegeBound scholarships, and CollegeBound need-based last dollar grants. For so many of these scholars and their families, this journey to college required years of planning, extraordinary hard work, and personal sacrifice. And we are here today to honor those efforts. We're also here to celebrate CollegeBound's 30th anniversary. That is an amazing accomplishment. Today's luncheon is truly a celebration of Baltimore scholars, past, present, and future, and you will hear directly from the scholars, and you'll see their stories in the videos. You will hear from a CollegeBound alumnus and other CollegeBound supporters. And at the end of today's luncheon, I believe that you will be optimistic about Baltimore's future, as we all should be. Now, I would like to invite to the podium CollegeBound Foundation's Executive Director, Cassie Montz.
Thank you, Patrice, and thank you everyone for being here today. I am thrilled to announce that this is the largest gathering in CollegeBound's 30-year history. We have 1,000 people here today. I was just talking with Greg Brown, the general manager of the Hilton, who's a CollegeBound board member, and he told me that there are only 2 or 3 such events the entire year that have so many people. So thank you to all of you for being here and for filling the room on behalf of Baltimore City's best and brightest, the scholars who we are honoring today. You will hear from many community members today. There are many leaders of the community, both in the audience and who will be up here on the podium. But I think that the true VIPs, and I think everybody in the room would agree, are our scholars. So if we could just have a round of applause for our students. Today is your day, and I'm speaking to the students, and we are here to celebrate you, so please enjoy. But of course, behind the students are the people who support students every day, and I'm talking about the moms and the dads, sisters, brothers, grandparents, coaches, school counselors, CollegeBound advisors, teachers, principals, coaches, for all of those in the room who support our scholars, not just on days of joy and celebration like today, but through every day. Could we have a round of applause for all of those people? As Patrice mentioned, and as I hope is obvious by all of the fanfare here, we are in fact celebrating CollegeBound's 30th anniversary. I want to give a special shout out to the Dunbar Jazz Band led by Mr. Charles Funn for really setting a celebratory tone. 30 years ago, the business leaders and community leaders of Baltimore got together to form CollegeBound. The Greater Baltimore Committee, the GBC, a downtown business group, as well as Baltimoreans United in Leadership Development, BUILD, collaborated because they wanted college to be an option for students across Baltimore City from every neighborhood. CollegeBound started small. Originally back in 1988, we were a small organization. We had only a few college advisors. We gave out a small amount of scholarship money. And here, 30 years later, as we sit in the room today, we have CollegeBound advisors who this coming school year will have a presence in 20 Baltimore City public high schools, about half of the high schools. We are able to award, thanks to the generosity of many in this room, almost $3 million of scholarships and need-based grants to Baltimore City graduates. We have citywide, free, community-based seminars for students from kindergarten through 12th grade. And we have 2 programs that follow our students through college, the Urban Scholars Program and the College Completion Program. So we have come a long way in 30 years, thanks to the hard work of many in this room. I hope that you've had a chance to see, either in your program or up on the screen before the program began, or on social media for the 30 days leading up to the luncheon, alumni profiles that we've put together of 30 prominent alumni. These 30 were chosen among the 275,000 Baltimore City Public School graduates that CollegeBound has counseled over the past 30 years. And so we could have picked among thousands, but I do hope that you get to focus on the 30 who are in your program book, many of whom are here today. On behalf of the entire CollegeBound team and the board, could I please ask all CollegeBound employees, past and present, and all CollegeBound alumni who are in the room to stand and be honored for your work over the past 3 decades. And as I mentioned, both Build and the GBC during the early years of CollegeBound put a lot of work into building the foundation. And since then, we've had many people serve on the board of directors of CollegeBound, providing counsel, support. Many of our board members are very hands-on. They serve as mentors and scholarship readers. If I could ask all CollegeBound board members, past and present, as well as those who are sitting up at the table for our founders table, who were involved in the founding of CollegeBound, if all board members, past and present, and our founders could please stand to be acknowledged. Before I introduce our next speaker, I just wanted to leave with two final sentiments. One is one of gratitude, a huge thank you. A thank you to Baltimore City Schools, Dr. Santelises and the CEOs before her, for all of the school principals who have invested in CollegeBound and opted to have a CollegeBound advisor at their school, for all the teachers and school counselors who have worked alongside the CollegeBound team. I want to thank you for being such great partners over the past 30 years. The thank you also extends to so many of you in the room. Frankly, anyone who's in the room today believes in Baltimore, believes in our city's students, in their excellence and in their drive. And many of you are supporters, whether you're mentors or scholarship readers or financial supporters. I want to thank everyone for being here today and for supporting CollegeBound and believing in Baltimore's young people. A special thank you to my CollegeBound colleagues, my 32 colleagues on the CollegeBound team. You all work so hard day in and day out in the schools, working with students, and in the headquarters office, giving out scholarship money and supporting the schools in so many other ways. I really do appreciate you, and I'm really glad to be part of the CollegeBound organization. My final note is one really directed to the students, the scholars, both the students who are heading off to college and those who are currently in college, about to graduate and head into the world of work. Our city needs you, and our country needs you. So I hope that when you are thinking about what you want to do, whether you decide to come back to Baltimore or spread your wings and go out further, that you use the talents that you've learned from Baltimore City schools and from your college experience to do some good in the world. Because we really need you, and the fact that so many people, 1,000 people of your fellow Baltimoreans are here to celebrate you, I think speaks volumes about the talent that Baltimore has. This is a very good day for Baltimore. I think sometimes we tend to focus on the bad in Baltimore. And the students that we honor here today are truly, truly fantastic, wonderful students who are going to change this city and change the world. So to our students, yes, that deserves a round of applause. To our students, I want to say congratulations and good luck, and we do expect great things from you. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. We're going to go a little bit out of order because I understand the mayor has a busy schedule and is running a little behind. And I'm going to go straight to introduce our alumni speaker, who is truly a CollegeBound gem. The Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Brooks grew up in Baltimore and graduated from Lake Clifton Eastern High School in 1997. He earned his graduate degree at Norfolk State University and his two graduate degrees, Norfolk State University and Virginia Union. He earned his undergraduate degree at Norfolk State and his graduate degrees in divinity from Virginia Union and Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. Dr. Brooks is joining us all the way from Birmingham, Alabama, where he's the senior pastor at the Greater St. John Baptist Church. Please join me in welcoming the Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Brooks.
Well, good afternoon, CollegeBound Foundation. Come on and speak back to me. Good afternoon. It is good to be here again. To the CollegeBound Board of Directors, Brett Egerman, Board Chair Cassie Motts, the Executive Director, Dr. Tracy Durant, Alumni President, and to my distinguished alumni colleagues, give yourselves a round of applause right there. To the CollegeBound scholars, to the parents, to the friends, sponsors of CollegeBound, I say good afternoon, and I say, wow, this is what it feels like to be in the top 30 over 100 out of 100,000 other graduates. Come on and say, I came to the top in the top 30. If you would indulge me this afternoon as I take you on a journey, it was 20 years ago that I sat at the table with a CollegeBound counselor. 20 years ago, I stood at the Lake Clifton Eastern High School, running around not thinking where life would take me. And one day, a door opened, and out of that door stepped a woman, and her name was Toby Morris. And she asked a magical question that will drive my career. She says, "Where are you going to college?" I looked at her and I said, "Say that again?" She says, "Where are you going to college?" And I said, "Well, I have to finish high school first." And then I looked and I said, "Well, I don't know if college is a reality for me, mainly because I didn't have the grades to get into the school." You see, what drove my answer to her was the fact that I had to watch a grandmother come home morning after morning, bone tired from working long hours at night, on holidays working overtime and part-time and full-time just to make ends meet. And I had two parents that gave up their responsibilities early on. And so college was not a reality for someone like me. It was day to day. And Toby wrote down her name, and she said, "See me tomorrow." Well, just like any teenager, you're going to escape that "see me tomorrow." And she caught me. She says, "Did I tell you to see me?" And I said, "Well, I told you I wasn't interested in college." And she says, "Well, I have something for you." And she began to flip through CollegeBound, and she sparked. And then one day, she put me on a bus. And she says, "Let's go to the college fair that's happening right here at the convention center." Well, I didn't know God was ordering some things of intersections. You see, that door that opened that day was just a small intersection. The second door opened when I got here to the convention center. I left the group, just like any other kid, not wanting to understand what college is about. I sat in a corner, and a woman came over to me. Her name was Michelle Marable, and she was the director of admissions at Norfolk State University. And she says, "Why are you sitting here?" And I said, "Well, every booth that I go to, they tell me the GPA. I don't have that GPA." And she said, "What's your name?" I told her my name. And then she says, "If you can take your SAT over and get to this score, I'm going to give you admission." Well, I took the SAT, and I did not get that score. I picked up the phone, and like the student that I thought I wanted to be, I was. And I said, "Ms. Marable, I could not get that score." You see, I had some tragedies between the time that you saw me and when I met you. And she says, "Well, what did you get?" And I told her. And she says, "You'll be hearing from me." Surely, I thought that my future was over. Well, out of that intersection, I received a letter. "Congratulations. you are admitted into Norfolk State University. She took a chance on a young man sitting in the corner. Toby took a chance by stepping out of a door. And between the door that Toby stepped out of and Michelle Marable coming to the corner, I began to understand fully that God gave me a light and I had to shine. Out of that moment, month after month and year after year, something happened. I was challenged by the CollegeBound Foundation to take the road less traveled. And many have heard the poem by Robert Frost, not to take the path that was beaten and worn by everybody else, but take the one that everybody didn't want to go down. And so year after year, CollegeBound would check on me, and they would give me inspiration and send me cards. When I graduated and my grandmother passed, they sat in funerals with me. When I got my doctorate, they was there. When I was licensed and ordained, they was there. Because when Toby stepped out of the door, it wasn't just a scholarship. I became family. And that's what CollegeBound Foundation is about. It's not about just the scholarships. You inherit a family that believes in you and that want to see you push and go to the next level. Scholars, you're sitting at the table not with just faces and individuals, but you're sitting at a table with people who truly believe in you. And so for that, you should give them a round of applause. I'll end with this. I remember leaving Norfolk State, entering into a world of a master's degree. From there, receiving a doctorate from Southern Baptist. From there, receiving a postdoctorate from Princeton in youth and theology. And I remember the phone getting picked up by Jimmy Tadlock. And he says, "Nate, you're on the road. You're on the run." And every year, the phone would ring, and he would say, "Thank you for giving us the opportunity to intersect with you." To the CollegeBound scholars on today, soon you will be alumni. You'll be graduating and moving forward. I'll leave you with these words, and these words are from Rudyard Kipling. If you can walk with kings and queens and not lose the common touch, then you have shown yourself as a woman or a man. Regardless of the degree that you have, regardless of the accolades that you will receive, regardless of the many handshakes in the many countries you'll go to, never forget you started somewhere and you started somewhere with someone. You didn't get to where you are by yourself, but somebody helped you get there. Today, CollegeBound is recognizing you, so 20 years from now, when you come back to this platform, recognize CollegeBound, the many donations, the many people who believed in this organization, the many people who gave, the many people who said, "I can't make it, but here's my gift." That's why you give to CollegeBound, because the return on investment started 20 years ago, and take a look at me now. Put your hands together. Y'all can do better than that. I said y'all can do better than that. Come on and put your hands together. Come on and stand and thank. Come on and thank each other. Give each other a hug and thank each one of you because you made this possible. Take a look. Take a look. This is what you do. Come on and keep doing it. Nobody could do this but you. Well, I think I made myself in the top 30 again. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Brooks. Cassie, we definitely should have put him at the end of the program, because how do you follow a pastor? And you know you have a pastor when they make you get up and turn to your neighbors. Well, we want to meet some of our stars today, this year's Scholars of the Week. As you know, CollegeBound employs full-time college advisors, or CAPs, who work year-round on-site in more than a dozen Baltimore City public high schools. Throughout the year, CollegeBound selects one graduating senior from each of these schools as its CollegeBound Scholar of the Week. And if you watch Fox 45, you've probably seen some of the 30-second profiles on these amazing students. Each of these scholars has worked closely with their CollegeBound advisor, and now we are going to hear from both scholar and advisor in their own words. Of these Scholars of the Week, one Scholar of the Year is chosen. This year's Scholar of the Year is the last scholar who is featured in the 6-minute video montage you're about to see, and then you will hear from her immediately following the video. So sit back, relax, and let's meet this year's CollegeBound Scholars of the Week.
As a leader, I get to motivate other students and inspire them to pursue their dreams.
Aline came from Jamaica to give herself a better opportunity to go to college, and she has mastered the skill of using her struggle as her motivation rather than her excuse.
I want to build a STEM institution in Jamaica so that I can help kids who are interested in the STEM field to pursue their dream in STEM.
Aline is determined to succeed not just for herself, but also for her family.
I want to go to college because I've always had this thing about farthering myself, becoming a better person.
Cassandra's shown that she's been prepared by taking on a pretty large role for a high school student. Not only is she a full-time student here at Reginald Lewis, but she also works and is very active at home and just being an exemplary student.
College, I think, is going to put me towards the right steps that I need to take. I want to become a lawyer in the future.
Cassandra is a great student because she does a fantastic job of stepping outside her comfort zone.
I want to go to college mainly because I've been raised to believe that college is a milestone in the lives of everybody who wants to be successful.
Derek is an awesome student. He's an awesome leader. He is the class president of 2018. He's also on the mock trial team, and he's also a participant in our theater and department club here after school as well.
Because of CollegeBound, I've had somebody at my disposal at all times ready to help me whenever I need it.
He comes out on top each and every time.
Dwayne's a strong, silent leader, not just on the field, but in the classrooms as well.
My parents taught me to always have a good education and to always be successful to make it out in this world. As a scholar athlete, it's important for me to be known as being intelligent first.
Dwayne's a leader at Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School. He isn't just an athlete, he's also college-bound.
Put in the work and to go to college and just pursue your dreams. No dream is too big or too small for you not to accomplish.
My family believes that education is a privilege. Education can really open doors. I'm heading to University of Maryland, College Park, where I plan to study business.
She knew where she wanted to go and how she had planned to get there.
One day I want to own my own business where I not only help the environment, I help the people that are surrounding the environment.
I see Ashley as a leader.
I've always believed that you should grow your mindset.
I envision a future for myself where I am successful and have exceeded the goals I've set for myself. I want to major in business or graphic design.
Ayana's like a quiet storm. She gets her work done. When you give it to her, you're not sure that she's doing it because of her response, but she's doing it.
I want to start my own nonprofit business that helps women and girls who suffer from domestic abuse.
Ayana's an awesome student. She's always been a great student. She takes great direction, and there's no doubt in my mind that she's going to be successful.
What drives me is my passion for self-advancement. I want to be an inspiration to my peers and younger relatives to use education and turn to education over anything.
She's a student who looks at academics as a way out, a way to overcome whatever her circumstances are.
I hope the future holds for me to become a talk show host and an established author. I hope to motivate all people and inspire those who struggle and just to let them know if I can do it, you can do it too.
I'm a senior here at Poly. I am president of our school's environment club. I love watching birds, and I'm passionate about saving our planet.
What motivates Claire? I think she wants to make a difference.
She cares about the environment. She cares about people.
I want to work in environmental policy to create laws that can make our society more sustainable and livable into the future.
Claire's going to be a leader. She's going to lead our nation in pulling our planet environmentally in the right direction.
Science is interesting to me because there's many different ways that you can explore life with science.
Kijana may come off as shy or bashful at times, but deep inside, once you get to know her and she opens up, you see the determination that she has to be great.
I plan to study science, forensic science, and research.
Kijana's willfulness and determination is what makes her a perfect candidate for Scholar of the Week.
My grandmother inspired me. I want to share that passion by owning my own restaurant and becoming a chef. After the 2 years at Anne Arundel, I'm going to attend University of Baltimore. CollegeBound helped me with my struggles by always being there.
Timothy is focused, determined, and consistent. I'm certain that he's going to succeed in college.
5 years from now, I'm going to see me sowing the seeds for my restaurant.
I think college is the gateway to success.
What makes Tyleek succeed is going to be his passion. The fact that he doesn't view obstacles as obstacles.
Growing up, I've always seen my family struggle, and I always saw what they had to go through just to make sure that I had what I needed. And I feel as though I owe it to them to give back and more.
He puts in over 100% of everything that he does, which is why he's a great representation for Scholar of the Week.
As valedictorian of my class, I am motivated because of my mother, my future goals, and my family.
Victoria is special because she's an excellent role model and she exemplifies a student with great character, and she's always remained on top in spite of obstacles that I watched her endure.
My mom passed in 2017 and she motivates me to excel because she wanted me to get good grades, graduate from high school, and attend college.
She was given the right name because Victoria will always be victorious and she will always see victory at the end.
Good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before you all today as the 2018 CollegeBound Scholar of the Year. My name is Victoria Breeton. Let me tell you a little about myself. I lived on the east side of Baltimore City all my life. As the youngest of 4 girls, I enjoyed my childhood. My mother would throw the biggest cookouts and parties and invited all of the neighborhood kids. I felt spoiled because I got whatever I wanted. Everything was peaches and cream until my mother was laid off in 2011 from the bank where she had worked as a supervisor for 25 years. My mother never had a job after that. I was entering middle school at the time, and that was when we started to rely on government assistance to live. Times started to get tough, but my father was never really around. He was a drug addict. When I was younger, he would take me out with him and leave me standing on the street while he did whatever he had to do. I felt scared. He was untrustworthy and unreliable. I never said anything because he was my father, but as I got older, I realized that everything he was doing was wrong. My mother, on the other hand, was a welcoming lady in the neighborhood. She invited all of the neighborhood kids into our house and called everyone her children. Unfortunately, some of the people that she let into our house were not upstanding citizens. As a result, our house was raided by the police, who were tracking some people. They tore our house to pieces, knocking dressers over, cutting up mattresses, and more. We then had to move in with my aunt and uncle because we couldn't afford to live in our house. My mother and I shared a small room at their house, sleeping in the same twin-sized bed. I was in 5th grade at the time. The trouble at home eventually spilled over into my school life. I was always fighting when I was younger. In fact, I was suspended for fighting. I also didn't like to do my homework. I was trouble. When I was in the 7th grade, I got my first and only police report. I was caught shoplifting at the gallery. Being detained in the middle of the store and hearing the officer refer to me as a juvenile delinquent on the radio was my scared straight moment. I was embarrassed and scared. I never wanted to steal again. Being called a juvenile offender wasn't a good thing because my mother raised me better than that. My sister was always getting on my case about my actions, and although I didn't physically see my mother crying, my sister would tell me, and I no longer wanted to disappoint my mother. As a result, the next year, I became the valedictorian of my 8th grade class with an exam score that could get me into any high school in Baltimore City. I could have gone to any high school, but I chose Carver Vocational Technical High School. Many people hassled me about it because they wanted me to go to Poly or Dunbar, 2 of the hardest schools to get into. But I wanted to get away and start new, so I chose to attend Carver. Although I lived in East Baltimore and Carver was on the west side of town, I didn't want to distract myself by going to school with a bunch of people I knew. I also wanted to do hair, and I could do this at Carver because it's a career and technical education school. Every morning for 4 years, I left the house at 6:30, took a train and a bus to get to school by 7:45. As a freshman, I played a number of sports. I became a cheerleader, then later left the cheerleading team to run cross country. I was the team's strongest female runner and the anchor in all the relays. I later joined outdoor track and field. It was my favorite sport. It was also my mother's favorite sport, and she always supported me during my track meets. I had a good freshman year. Although balancing sports and my academics were hard, I ended up finishing out that year with a 4.0 GPA. Sophomore year was also a good year for me. I was awarded the Ben Carson Scholarship of $1,000. I was on the principal's honor roll every quarter and became the class president, a position that I've held ever since. At the end of that year, my CollegeBound advisor, Ms. Smith, invited me to this luncheon. Little did I know that I would be standing on this stage 2 short years later. My junior year started okay. With the help of my English teacher, Mrs. Hall, who was this year's Baltimore City Teacher of the Year, I became a published author at the age of 16. But then a tragedy happened. My mother was diagnosed with stage 4 brain and lung cancer. It broke my heart when she entered hospice, and the doctors told me that there was nothing else to do. She then passed away in January of 2017. I didn't think I would have to go through something like this. I always thought to myself, why do all the bad things have to happen to the good people? She was only 51. Luckily, I had Alicia Owens for it, who has been my mentor since she was my middle school basketball coach. She helped me throughout the whole process, and I thank her for that. There was no one that I wanted to talk to but my 3 sisters and my mentor. She and my 3 sisters were the only people who I felt would understand me. This traumatic experience affected my schoolwork. When my mother passed, I started failing my classes. I didn't want to get up in the morning for school. I just knew my life was over. But it wasn't. Something told me that if my mother were to see me like this, she would be upset. All she wanted was for me to do well in school and graduate, so I changed my attitude about the situation. I started to go back to school even when the administrators told me that I could have taken time off to grieve properly. School was what took my mind off of it. I started dancing for Carver, and my dance coach, Ms. Herndon, she made sure we completed all of our work before coming to practice, and that helped me boost my grades. I successfully got back on track and completed that year with a 4.1 cumulative GPA. That time of my life was hard, but I did it for my mom. My mother became my motivation for everything I do, as well as my motto, everything happens for a reason. Senior year was tough as well. I kept getting sick, missing school. My grades were up and down, but why? I found out that I was pregnant in February of this year. I wasn't ashamed, and I was willing to handle my responsibilities. In April, a week before my mother's birthday, I was told that I was at high risk of a miscarriage. A few days later, I lost a baby. 2 days after, I lost my grandmother, and that was the day before my mother's birthday. I was thinking, why did I have to go through this? The death of my mother, my child, and my grandmother, on top of trying to finish high school and figure out which college I would be attending. It was a lot to handle, but then I told myself, everything happens for a reason. It was just a minor setback for a major comeback. So I continued to go to school. With the support of my mentor, my sisters, my CollegeBound advisor, Ms. Smith, my dance coach, Ms. Herndon, and the staff at Carver, I finished the year strong with a 4.2 cumulative GPA. High school was rough, but I made it. I ended up graduating as the class of 2018 valedictorian and voted as most likely to succeed. As the dance captain, I led my team to victory, taking the first place trophy in our 2018 dance symposium. I will now be continuing my education at Coppin State University in the fall. I will major in business management to use what I learned in the program to manage a small business here in Baltimore City. I will minor in dance to later give back as a dance choreographer for the youth here in Baltimore City. So many things have happened in my life, I could write a book about it. So many trials and tribulations that led me to be the best that I can be. Ms. Herndon always says her mother gave her the right name. She says that Victoria will always be victorious. My mother named me for victory because of everything she went through while pregnant with me. She faced the threat of having a miscarriage, along with caring for my sisters, working, and dealing with my father. In honor of my mother, I will work hard to overcome obstacles in life. Before I leave here today, I want to speak to all the students in the audience. I know some of you all may be going through some of the things that I've been through, or may face hardships in the future. Instead of giving up, I want you to turn every loss into a lesson, meaning learn from your mistakes and use what you learned to progress and make you a better person. Also, remember that although you may face obstacles in life, everything happens for a reason. If I didn't turn that police report into a lesson, or if I would have let the death of my mother bring me down, I wouldn't have made it through high school successfully. Even if you fail a class or fail in the future, turn it into a lesson and find that motivation that will drive you to be greater in life. My motivation was my mother and her will for me to finish school and go to college. Never stop striving, no matter what happens in life. I want to thank everyone who helped me throughout my journey in high school. I want to thank Ms. Smith, Ms. Herndon, Alicia Owensford, my sisters. I wouldn't be standing right here today if it weren't for you all helping me. Thank you.
Victoria. You also get this for being the Scholar of the Year, so congratulations. Do you want to do it that way? She might pick it up one.
Well, if that doesn't make you proud to be an investor in the CollegeBound Scholarship Program, then nothing will. That is an amazing story. All right, right now we want to bring up to the podium the mayor of Baltimore City. She runs around, she has a lot going on, but always makes time to make this one of her priorities, and she is here now. Let's bring up to the podium Mayor Catherine Pugh.
If the message of Victoria didn't inspire you or make you feel like you've done the right thing in terms of investing in CollegeBound, I don't know what else would. So let's give Victoria another big round of applause. And let me just say this, the message of Victoria for all of us who are gathered and for Baltimore City is never give up on our young people. Never give up on the young people of Baltimore City. Because what Victoria has said to you is that she is one of those individuals in our city that is willing to meet every challenge that she is confronted with. And that is a lot of young people in Baltimore City. Let me also say to Build and the GBC, it was 30 years ago that you all came together with the support of then Mayor Kurt Schmoke to found this program. Thank you. Thank you on behalf of the citizens of Baltimore, but thank you on behalf of the young people of our city whose future you all have helped to direct. I am so excited for all that's being done. Cassie, the executive director of CollegeBound, I know you look around this room and say, wow, how this program has grown. And to now, President of the University of Baltimore, Kurt Schmoke, I know we'll hear from you in a few. Sometimes you never think how great your vision might be when you're thinking about it at that moment. But again, you get to see the fruits of your labor. So thank you. And Dr. Sonia Sandelises, Brett, Tracy, all of you all who are committed to this program, thank you. And to the Reverend Dr. Nathaniel Brooks, thank you as well. And to all the young people that we will honor today. 30 years later, we are continuing a program that means so much to so many. And when we talk about not giving up on our youth, President Schmoke, I think it was you that I had a conversation with initially about making Baltimore City Community College free. And I want you all to know that we thought maybe 200 or 300 young people would apply, but over 540 some odd young people have applied to the Mayor's Scholars Program. What is so exciting is to go on to BCCC's campus, because what we thought was important was to undergird those young people so that in the fall, they will really be prepared to compete. And so this summer, they are participating in a program with our Youth Works where they earn while they learn so they can be prepared to compete this summer as students at Baltimore City Community College. I know that the faculty at Baltimore City Community College said that they too had to learn a little bit about how to work with this population because this was a population that they were not used to working with. But if you could walk with me as I walk past Gilmore Homes and parents come running out and saying thank you for allowing our young people to go to Baltimore City Community College free. Or Bishop, to be in the supermarket and the cashier says, I'm in the Mayor's Scholars Program. Or that CollegeBound has helped me to become all that I can be. That's what we want for our young people in our city. The opportunity to maximize their potential. Now, every child doesn't have to go to college, but every child should have the opportunity to get there if they so aspire. What we've learned with the Mayor Scholars Program is that oftentimes parents don't push their children towards college because they know they can't afford it. And children don't aspire because they know their parents can't afford it. And with CollegeBound, the Mayor Scholars Program, and all the efforts out there, what we're doing is changing the trajectory of the lives of our young people, but more importantly, creating an environment in our city for young people to achieve. And Bishop, the other thing that we're working with is creating apprenticeship programs throughout this city, because what we know is that our workforces, not just in the city's workforce, but in companies and corporations throughout our city, are aging. And I can tell you that with programs like CollegeBound, we will have young people prepared to work in your companies, in your corporations, and in your industries. So again, I say thank you to all of you for investing in the future of our city, but more importantly, for giving our young people an opportunity to succeed. And so with that, I would like to bring the executive director to the stage so that I can present our mayor's salute, because with this, we have invested some $240,000 in the city's budget just for college-bound scholars, and this is not all that we're investing in the future of our young people when we think about the $1.5 million that we've put into making Baltimore City Community College free. But with CollegeBound, we give our young people the opportunity to be productive at every college in our city and in our state. Thank you all. Thank you for investing, and thank you for believing. Thank you very much. Thank you. So just the mayor's salute. I get to walk around with these throughout the city to say thank you for the work that you're doing, and hopefully it inspires you to continue to do this work. I know you don't need a certificate to do that, because this luncheon is recognition that you are doing great work for all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of all of us, thank you. Our next speaker is someone that the mayor just referenced, one of the founders of the CollegeBound program, and that's Kurt Schmoke. He is currently serving as the president of the University of Baltimore, a Baltimore native, proud graduate of Baltimore City College, Yale University, Harvard. Yeah, you have to wait for a minute. You have a lot here. Harvard Law School. President Schmoke has dedicated much of his career and his life to public service and higher education. The scholars in the room may not remember his time, but I'm about to tell my age now. Some of the older folks in the room will remember the time when he was mayor of Baltimore. That was my Towson University days, or I guess back in Towson State University days, if I'm being accurate. But he was the mayor of Baltimore from 1987 to 1999. During his tenure as mayor, President Schmoke was a founding member of the CollegeBound Board of Directors, so it is now my honor to bring him to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Patrice. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure to be here. I first of all want to thank the mayor. When she came in, I said, I'm glad you're here because I didn't want to follow Victoria. That was such an outstanding speech, and Dr. Brooks, I really appreciate it. I was sitting with members of BUILD, and we all thought you were going to say, let's have church. And you got close, but we really do appreciate you undergirding the fact that this is a community. It's one that just doesn't stop at graduation. It continues, and I'm so very proud of each and every one of you. Now, I will be brief. I am a recovering politician, so I won't go on too long. I thought, though, that I would convey, just as an example of gets important lessons from my own experience growing up in high school here in Baltimore, and also the experience of working in partnership, because that's what this CollegeBound is all about, a public-private partnership focused on the future of our community through the future of these young people. And I just met the new, well, I guess not new, but the coach of the Polytechnic High School football team, so he did remind me specifically of this particular story. I may not look like it, but I once played football. I was the quarterback of our high school football team. In our junior year, we won what was the equivalent of the city championship. So the summer between the junior and senior year, we were out there getting ready. You know, we were practicing, and I'm throwing the football back and forth with one of my players. And my coach, who was this huge guy, was also a history teacher at the school, came up to me and asked the question that Dr. Brooks was asked by someone else. He said, you know, I'm throwing the ball back and forth. We're champions. We're all Kurt, where are you planning to go to college? I'm throwing the ball back and forth. I said, well, I'm thinking Penn State, Ohio State, maybe Notre Dame. He puts his arm around me and he said, I just want to tell you something. I said, what's that, Coach? He said, you're not that good. Now, I could have been crushed at that time, and I do believe in retrospect that I felt pretty bad. But then he said to me, look, there are a number of guys here on the team for whom football is going to become more and more important as they leave high school. But for you, it's going to become less and less important. So let me give you another set of schools, which he did, and I did end up taking his advice. Now, I give you that story, particularly for the young people, because there is such a term as constructive criticism. People, just because someone may make a comment that doesn't kind of align with your view of yourself, listen. Take a step back, think about it, consider it, and then move on. That was constructive criticism from my coach that really carried the day. And I know that many mentors in CollegeBound Foundation are giving young people similar type of advice. The second story, a little bit later, fast forward a bit. For many, many years, as I was growing up here in town, people would ask me the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was somewhat of a nerdy kid, and my mother claims that from the time that I was 8 years old, I said I wanted to be mayor of Baltimore. That's a long campaign from it. But I did. And I was in law school, and I came to work one summer at Brett's law firm. I worked at Piper & Marbury, and a senior partner there came up to me, and the question he asked me was this: what do you want to do with your law degree? I said to him, I want to be mayor of Baltimore. His comment was, I didn't ask you what you want to be, I asked you what you want to do. Very, very interesting. And it struck me that at that moment, had somebody with the magic wand made me the mayor, I didn't have the foggiest idea of what I wanted to do. So over time, I started thinking about that, and I simply wanted to convey to the young people here today, think about what you want to do more than what you want to be. That is, think about impact, the kind of impact that you want to have rather than the status that you want to achieve. Because as you heard from Dr. Brooks and from Victoria's comments, it's the impact that you have that's going to be far more important than any particular label that you achieve in life. I'm really excited for you, the young people of our community, and for our city and state in general. The comments, the commitment to education, your investment in the private sector in these young people, the public sector talking about not only free community college, but a proposal that'll be in the legislature this year to actually make the next 2 years of college free if you qualify from an area community college. I particularly want to encourage you to think about liberal arts, a strong liberal arts education. Why? Because things will change. Things are going to be dramatic change in our community. I tell you, that brief period from the time that I graduated high school to the time that I became mayor, this community had dramatic changes in its economy and what was required of employees. So I urge you to, when you finish here, to go get a great liberal arts education. Why? Because in my view, the liberal arts education allows you to reflect on the past, assess the present, and plan dramatically for the future, because you indeed are our future. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, President Schmoke. I want to bring up to the podium now Jimmy Tadlock, the Program Director of CollegeBound. And we'd also like to invite Dr. Sonia Santelises, the CEO of Baltimore City Schools, to join him as well.
Good afternoon. My name is Jimmy Tadlock, the Program Director for the CollegeBound Foundation. And we're going to hand out 3 awards that we actually award each year. The CollegeBound School Principal of the Year, CollegeBound School Counselor of the Year, and CollegeBound's College Representative of the Year. If I can ask my colleagues, my CollegeBound specialists, to come up to stage left just to form a line so we can allow you to be part of this recognition. Thank you. So I'm going to announce all 3 winners. And as I announce each winner, I'm going to ask if you would indulge us and come stand to stage right. And then after we announce all 3, then Dr. Santelises will join me in and recognize you a step further. So first, we'd like to celebrate our Principal of the Year. This principal insists on creating a college-going culture at her high school. She wants to make sure that the pennants in the hallways inspire her students to aspire to greatness. She's very supportive, not just of a CollegeBound advisor at her school, but also doing what she can to help ensure there's a CollegeBound advisor at every high school in Baltimore City. She actually reached out to my team to help her design a more rigorous college access program at her school, including her staff. And those were examples of what actually made her this year's Principal of the Year. So if we can ask Principal Aisha Almond from Coppin Academy High School to join me stage right. So while she's coming up, I'm now like to share with you who our 2018 Counselor of the Year is. This CollegeBound's reckoning this year worked hand in hand with our CollegeBound advisor throughout the school year. He was not about a lot of fanfare. He was about playing a key role to make sure his students were well served at his high school. Every day, you will walk into his school and you will see a line of students waiting to get help from him to make sure that they were reminded about what they needed to do to complete the college access process. He made sure every student, every senior in his high school had a post-secondary plan so they had the option to make an informed choice about their future. So again, we're going to ask the 2018 Counselor of the Year from Douglas High School, Mr. John Rogers, to join us stage right. Finally, the CollegeBound College Representative of the Year. He's actually been working on this for the past few years. I guess he didn't realize that. But often as the case, many of our college representatives are advocating for our students day in and day out for many years. And he represents his university very well, but he's very blunt about the reality of many of our students that don't have what it takes to be a direct admit. But he's always actively encouraged students to think about the next step to get there. He's encouraging to make sure that they look out for the school that's best for them if it is not his home institution. And if you would, put your hands together to recognize the Bernard Winder College Representative of the Year, Mr. Brandon Farmer from Salisbury University. So if I can ask Dr. Santelises to join me on stage, and we're going to step off to the side so we can ask Principal Allman to come join us for a picture.
We're still stunned.
Mr. Farmer. Thank you so much.
See, Jimmy doesn't give me an introduction anymore. He just tells me where to go. And any of you who know Jimmy Tadlock know that you will go wherever he tells you to go. I want to congratulate all of this year's winners, all of the CollegeBound staff in all of Baltimore City Public Schools, particularly our 3 winners this year in terms of recognition. I want to thank you for being the hands extended to our young people. I want to thank you for showing them what love in action looks like. I want to thank you for believing the seeds that are within them when oftentimes they don't know the seeds are there. So thank you for being part of the larger Baltimore City Public Schools family, and I appreciate all the work you do for our young people. Thank you again. Okay. So, am I doing what I'm supposed to do, Jimmy? Am I doing what I'm supposed to do? Okay, thank you. Woo, it is hard being in this role because you are just managed from morning until night. Well, I just want to say a wonderful, wonderful thank you to CollegeBound. Congratulations on 30 years. It really goes quickly. The vision of Build and former Mayor Schmoke, the current board members, Cassie, who just works tirelessly with her team. You have been fabulous since I returned to Baltimore. And I want to thank Mayor Pugh for just her continued commitment to uplift the young people of our city. And most importantly, and the reason why I do this job every day, it's not because of the luncheon food, it's not because of the adults I get to see, or even people with various beliefs in their own personal power. It really is because of the young people like Victoria. And in so many ways, Victoria, where are you, darling? Wave at me, there you go. I just want you to know, personally, that you are the absolute best testimony of your mother's beauty, her intelligence, her love, and you are her light to the rest of the world. And you should know that and take joy in that. And she is proud of you right now, and I want you to know she is looking right now, and she is so, so proud of you, okay? Good. So briefly, and Cassie promised me last night at dinner, I only had to say a few words, so I'm gonna try to keep to that. I want you to know, all of you, the 1,000 people that are here today, that the work that you do, the support that you give CollegeBound in this city, really is, as the mayor referenced earlier, the possibility to change the trajectory of young people's lives. But it's actually, in some ways, not just changing, it is uncovering. It is uncovering what is there that often gets pressed down, as Victoria talked about, with some of just the challenges that come across, but the resiliency that is there. And the power of college, we can debate back and forth, but the data is still clear that going to college, particularly for first-generation college goers, really is something that impacts their families for generations. And so with that, the challenge and the beauty of CollegeBound is that you have committed to taking one slice of a pie in a young person's life and going deep and going hard and making sure that whether it is young people in 9th grade, as the good Reverend told us earlier, just pull you aside when you don't see yourself as college material and saying to you that you are, or whether it is the last dollar grants that enable what we know is often a hurdle for first-gen college goers, and that is when you look in your bank account and you're not sure how you're gonna stretch from here to there, and sometimes it's easier to not ask and to just say, maybe I'm not supposed to be there, you're there then. Or whether it is the calls from people like Jimmy Tadlock, who tell you years later, you are still part of something, and you are still worthy of the investment and the gifts that you have within you. And young people, I want you to know that actually, as former Mayor Schmoke said, this is not just about programming in what you think you want to be now, but this is about the power of choice. The power of having a knowledge that allows you to say, actually, like I did when I was in the 8th grade, I decided I actually don't want to be a pediatrician anymore. I thought I did, but I didn't. Or, no disrespect to Erica Green, who's here, when I was in college and thought I wanted to be an international journalist and decided, I don't feel like I want to dodge bullets in the middle of Iran. I don't want to dive into, holes to do that. I want to do something differently. It goes back to what former Mayor Schmoke said. It is about knowing what it is you want to do and who you want to impact and what mark you want to leave to make our community and our world better. And you know what? In the end, I ended up doing something I didn't think I would. I didn't know I was going to love teaching when I first entered the classroom in Bedford-Stuyvesant so many years ago. And I certainly did not ever think anybody in God's green earth would willingly want to be the head of an urban school district. But I will tell you this. The beauty of being well-educated, the beauty of having a circle of support around you, is that you get to choose. And so what I want for you and what I want for every young person in Baltimore City is to have the right and the skills to make that decision for yourself. So if, like Victoria, you want to be an entrepreneur and open up your business, that is just as powerful as anything else you could decide to do, but no, it is the power of choice. That's what we want for you. That's what CollegeBound helps give you. Those are the doors that are open for you. The world is there, and the world needs what you have. I do not have the answer to Baltimore's business challenges. I do not have the cure for childhood leukemia. I do not know how to break up and eradicate food deserts in every major city in this nation, but I will tell you, you all do. Those answers are with you. And so when I'm already old, but when I get old enough not to do this work anymore, I will sit back and I will smile and know that the young people in this room, the young people that so many of you here have invested in, the answers are in them. Thank you, all supporters of CollegeBound. Thank you, Cassie and the CollegeBound team, for a continued legacy of excellence. And most important, thank you to the scholars and your families for being the seeds of hope and the seeds of promise that we need here in Baltimore City and that our world is waiting to see. Thank you all and have a great day.
Can we get another round of applause for Dr. Santelises for all the work that she does in Baltimore City on behalf of the students? Now we want to share with you a 6-minute video that showcases a cross-section of CollegeBound's work over just this past year in partnership with city schools. We know that the students in this city are remarkable people. You all are remarkable. And when you support CollegeBound, this is what you're supporting.
Today we had our annual college fair here at Carver. Colleges and organizations from around the Mid-Atlantic came to Carver to tell the students about their colleges.
I learned their majors and their minors, their SAT requirements, as well as their GPA requirements.
Today, students had the opportunity to apply to colleges with our on-site admissions. Sometimes students feel like they're bound by regional schools, but to find out their opportunities beyond Baltimore and beyond Maryland is a great opportunity for them.
We're at the National Aquarium. I'm here for CollegeBound because I came in first place for a writing essay.
We have contestants from grades K through 8 all over the city. Students have entered poetry, essays, and original artwork.
She said, Mom, winning this competition just gave me the drive to actually work harder. I guess this really propelled her into really having that college mindset.
The contest originally started, why do I want to go to college? And now it's with college I'm inspired to be. So not just thinking about going to college, but what college will allow them to become or who they will become with a college education.
The fact that she's able to have such a great opportunity is mind-blowing.
We are here at the 8th grade success seminar. We are supporting 7th and 8th grade parents today, just giving them an understanding of what's next for them and their student as they enter into high school.
It's programs like this that lay a foundation for you and for your child to really prepare for the next level of their life.
I think that a project like this will help him because it'll be somebody else emphasizing to him how important it is besides just mom.
I want to think about my choices now before it's too late and I can't do what I want to do.
See if your high school has some type
To college and through college, we definitely want to support the student to get there.
I'm going on a college spring break tour to meet new people and open myself up to new opportunities to better me and my future.
You already got you checked in, sir?
We're going to start off in Howard County at Howard Community College. Then we're going to go down to Virginia Union, UVA. After that, we're going to go to Monticello the following day. Then back up to Howard University. The next day, we get up, we go to Trinity University. Then after Trinity, we're going to go to the National Museum of African American Arts and Culture. We're ready to go!
Today we're here at the 18th Annual CollegeBound Foundation Rising Senior Seminar. This seminar has been put together year after year to bring rising seniors and their parents together for an educational experience.
Some of the information that I'm receiving today is scholarship information, deadlines for scholarships as well as college deadlines, early decisions, This is my first daughter to go off to college, but I'm learning a lot of information that I did not have a clue on the parent side.
These things will give them the jump start in this summer so that they can start completing these applications starting in August.
The College Completion is a retention program that helps students to college and through college. Today is CollegeBound's College Completion Program first annual Winter Leadership Seminar. The primary focus of this seminar is to help the college completion scholars overcome barriers that they may have or will encounter. The students will also have an opportunity to go through breakout sessions where they will start talking about activities that help them become a leader on campus and in the community. And I'm just excited to see their level of motivation in hopes that this motivation will continue to the end, which is graduation. Today we are here at Our Daily Bread serving. They have their assignments. It's either serving, cleaning, being a runner, washing dishes. Giving back is very important, and it's showing our students how to, one, humble themselves and to serve. So today is the second annual College Completion Orientation Kickoff. We're bringing in a whole new crop of students. This year we have 70 students. Today's students will be meeting their mentors for the very first time.
They talk to us about our commitment. They talk to us about not just the financial commitment, but the fun piece as well. They talk to us about the different resources that they're going to have and different things to actually get them through this college experience.
They gave me a mentor and a counselor so that I can talk to and they can guide me through college.
The mentor has already been through everything, kind of knows everything that they're going through. They can relate to them a little better than mom and dad, so I think that'll be a great experience for them.
We're here along with Urban Scholars, celebrating them and kicking off their academic year.
The Urban Scholars Program is a robust program that provides a roadmap and assistance to students from Baltimore City Public High Schools in achieving their dream of a college degree.
Urban Scholars has really taught me how to bounce back from mishaps throughout college. Instead of saying, you messed up and that's it, they picked me back up. They showed me how to bounce back and learn from my mistakes to be better throughout college and be better professionally.
They definitely helped with job training. They built my confidence a lot as far as school and professionally. I feel a lot more self-aware, a little bit more prepared for life in general.
Urban Scholars has given me the opportunity to intern with M&T Bank in the healthcare loan division. Seeing that corporate side of the world, it really ties in the workshops and the communication and the networking events, and it brings everything full circle. Urban Scholars is really preparing me for the future in the best way possible.
Good afternoon. Come on, y'all, we're almost done. You can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right, very good. My name is Brett Ingerman, and I am honored to be the chairman of the board of the CollegeBound Foundation. An amazing video we just saw. Thank you to Cassie and Jimmy, Dr. Stewart, and everyone at the CollegeBound staff for everything that you do. Now, I want to start with a quick story. Sorry, Cassie, I'm already off script, all right? When I heard that I was going to be speaking near the end of the program, and that people like Dr. Brooks, where are you? Reverend Brooks? I'm ready to move my whole family to Birmingham and join your church. I mean, you take some Jewish members, right? Be all right? Okay. Dr. Brooks, two mayors, Dr. Santelises, Victoria. When I found out I'd be speaking after all of those amazing speakers, I sought out one of the world-renowned speech writers. And I said to her, I'm going to be speaking after all of these amazing people, and I need you to help me with the speech that I'm going to give. And she looked at me and she thought for a moment, and she said, you're going to be speaking near the end of the program, right? I said, yes. She goes, I have some great advice for you. Keep it short. So that's what I will do. As you've seen and heard here today, CollegeBound works across the city, day and night, weekdays and weekends, in the classroom and in the community. But the question you have to ask yourself, that any nonprofit asks itself, is, are we making a difference? Now, the answer is a resounding yes, and you need to look no further than the number of people in this room and the people that you've heard speak here today. But sometimes you need more than that. Sometimes you need a little bit of data to prove that what we're doing is making a difference in the Baltimore City community. Over the last 30 years, we've awarded tens of millions of dollars in scholarships, more than $6 million in last dollar grants. Now, the average college graduation rate for students from low-income families nationally is under 20%. Think about that for a minute. Less than 20% of the low-income high schoolers around the country graduate from college. So how do we know CollegeBound is making a difference? Well, CollegeBound last dollar grant recipients graduate from college at a rate of 55%. That's worth a round of applause. More than double the national average. And what that tells us is that what we're doing, what everyone in this room is doing, is making a difference. I want to thank those of you for your very generous gifts from the members of the community. We've been able to double the number of students receiving need-based last dollar grants over the last couple of years. These grant recipients also participate in the new college completion program, now entering its second year, as you saw in the video, under the leadership of Dr. Charlene Stewart. Through this program, we will continue to work with students during college to help navigate challenges that may arise and do everything we can to continue to drive that graduation rate up. The goal is for even more need-based grant recipients to walk across the stage at their college graduation. Now, I want to stop here for a minute, because this is a very special moment for CollegeBound. It's our 30th anniversary, and so this year marks a milestone for CollegeBound Foundation Board of Directors. But it's not the 30th year that really makes it special, in my view. We have an engaged and a committed board, and I've had the pleasure over the last more than a decade now to know and work with a very special member of that CollegeBound board, and that's Alicia Wilson. Alicia, where are you? Come on up. Come on up here. Come on. I promised Alicia I wouldn't embarrass her. I lied. Now, many of you know Alicia. It seems that almost everyone in Baltimore knows Alicia. Come here. Now, Alicia grew up in East Baltimore, graduated from Mervo. Mervo in the house? All right, all right. Where she worked very closely with her CollegeBound advisor. Alicia earned a full ride to UMBC as a Walter Sondheim Public Affairs Scholar. And after UMB, she attended my alma mater, University of Maryland Law School, on a full scholarship, where she served as co-captain of the national trial team, and as if that wasn't enough, led the team to be ranked #1 in the country. Now, after law school, she wasn't done with her accomplishments, going on to practice labor and employment law at Gordon Feinblatt, a large, very well-respected law firm here downtown, where she was the first African American to make partner there. She now works for some guy named Plank, I don't know, Kevin Plank, somebody, as the Senior Vice President of Impact Investments, and she's a senior legal advisor to the Sagamore Development Company. Now, Alicia's been on the CollegeBound board with me for 7 years and been on the executive committee for 2 years. And as the program committee chair, she's helped shape many of the CollegeBound programs that you've seen and heard about today, and that have been at the root of the success of many of our scholars. She was most recently appointed as the vice chair of the CollegeBound Board of Directors. Now, on behalf of the entire CollegeBound Board of Directors, I am it says thrilled. I'm touched to announce that Alicia Wilson will be the next chair of the CollegeBound Board of Directors. Now she's really embarrassed. As if Alicia doesn't have enough accomplishments on her resume, she will be the youngest person to serve as the CollegeBound Board Chair. She will be the first woman to serve as the CollegeBound Board Chair. She will be the first African American to serve as the CollegeBound Board Chair. And she will be the first CollegeBound alumna to serve as the CollegeBound Board Chair. So congratulations, Alicia. Now it is my honor to ask Dr. Tracy Durant, who is our outstanding founding president of the CollegeBound Foundation Alumni Association, to join Alicia on the stage. They will give the final send-off to the class of 2018, or as we now like to call them, the CollegeBound College Class of 2022.
Thank you. I just want to say something before I get joined by Tracy Durant. When I sat in the seat, now I'm almost not going to get choked up because we have a lot to say. 18 years ago, I always remember my father saying something, my father's words that he said to me when I was very young, which is to figure out how to say thank you. And becoming chair of this board is figuring out my way to say thank you. Because without this organization, I wouldn't have been able to do what Paul Laurence Dunbar tells us all to do, which is to hold fast to dreams. And I just remember who was there when everything I wanted was just a dream. And so it is really an honor to get to serve in just a greater way an organization that is allowing for dreams to come true in our city. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'd like to join Alicia and also offer my thanks, not just to all of you in the room who are here today and who have invested in CollegeBound, but certainly to Bill and to GBC and who will always be Mayor Coach to me for your investment and your belief in the vision. It is not possible to articulate in words. Webster's or Google, whomever you choose to look, just doesn't hold enough words to be able to properly articulate my thanks to Baltimore. Born and bred, all three of my degrees have come from historically Black colleges and universities in Baltimore. My investment, my love for this city, the fact that I get to stand in this room, not just as a CollegeBound alum, but as the founding president of the Alumni Association. I get to be in this room with Carol Reckling, who is the secretary of the CollegeBound board, who was the executive director of Child First Authority, where I now chair that board. I get to stand in the room with my mentor and friend, Diane Bell McCoy from Associated Black Charities. I get to share the space with Dr. Sonia Santelises and the Baltimore City School Board. I get to stand on the stage with another founding Alumni Association board member. It is humbling. It is humbling, and I know for sure, I know a lot of things, but this thing I know, and I know with every fiber in my being, that without a college education, I would not be standing here. I would not be sending my second child to college in 2 weeks. It all started with an investment by people like you and a little girl like me who was living in poverty, who didn't know I was in poverty, because everybody was in poverty, right? I'm just so thankful and I'm so grateful. The other thing I'd like to do just before we close out the luncheon, we have a scholar panel. We have an alumni panel that meets right before the luncheon with all of our scholars. We have alumni share words of wisdom, of encouragement, advice to scholars and their parents, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge not just the members of the panel this morning, but to our moderator, LaWanda Lewis, wherever you are in the room. Thank you so much for that awesome panel. Would you join me in giving them a round of applause? Okay, so now can we have all of our CollegeBound Fox 45 Scholars of the Week please stand and remain standing? So all of our Scholars of the Week, please stand.
Now, can we have all of the other students headed to college this fall, please join them in standing up.
Okay. Now can we have all of our scholars currently in college, please stand up.
Okay, this is a big one. Now could we have any young people in the room who are not yet college age, but who plan to attend college, please stand.
Now, could we please have any CollegeBound alumni, those with a college, undergraduate, or graduate degree, please stand. And we'd like to pause here so that this year's college graduates can be presented with a special pin from a fellow CollegeBound alum. All recent college graduates are seated at the same table as alum who will now pin them.
Oh, this is nice. Just stop and take a look around the room for a moment. This is an impressive group who knows the importance of a college education. You are the next generation of Baltimore's leaders. You represent the future of our city. Let's give everyone a great round of applause. I get to close it out. So one, thank you for coming today. Congratulations to the scholars, the college class of 2022. The program is now concluded.